Hi, I'm Betsy Nagelson McCormick on the campus of the College of William & Mary. Tonight we will induct 6 new members into the prestigious ITA Hall of Fame, and it will be my great pleasure to introduce them. Courtney Allen won 6 national championships at Principia College on her way to becoming a Division III tennis legend. David Borelli has become a legend as well, a coaching legend, leading his USC teams to 7 national championships, and he may not be finished winning titles. One of David's stars at USC was Barbara Hallquist de Groot, who won 2 national collegiate singles titles and 4 team championships before turning pro. Ed Hegman built a tennis dynasty at the University of Mary Washington, coaching and teaching his student athletes to 3 national championships. Carrie Meyer Richardson delayed her outstanding pro career just long enough to win a national singles title during her undefeated freshman year at Florida's Marymount College. And finally, my good friend and doubles partner Joanne Russell joins the Intercollegiate Tennis Hall of Fame. Before turning pro, Jolt and Joanne won 2 national team titles and a doubles championship while at Arizona State. The 2010 class is certainly a special one, made up of 6 talented and dedicated individuals. Let's head inside the Allen B. Miller Hall and join the festivities.
It really is grand to see such a gathering of intercollegiate tennis players and coaches, past and present. And it's especially wonderful to have our 6 2010 inductees on hand. I'm told that this group of inductees won 12 team, 9 singles, and 4 doubles collegiate championships, while also earning numerous undergraduate and graduate degrees, the classic student athletes. And by any measure, it's a marvelous flowering of tennis prowess. And I think tonight's inductees will fit seamlessly into the pantheon of tennis greats already enshrined in the ITA Women's Tennis Hall of Fame. And each of the 6 inductees will be fully extolled in due course, but not yet. This Tennis Hall of Fame, in my judgment, does really important work by honoring and preserving the history of women's intercollegiate tennis and the financial wherewithal crucial to providing a seemly home for the Hall of Fame, as well as an elegant center for William & Mary tennis, came from Mark and Betsy Nagelson McCormick. And Betsy is, of course, with us tonight. The legendary late Mark McCormick was a William & Mary alumnus, class of 1951. He served on our board of trustees, our board of visitors. That was a slip of the tongue. We say board of visitors in Virginia, which everybody else calls board of trustees. And he led one of William & Mary's capital campaigns, among really countless other services to his alma mater. Mark was inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame here and the International Tennis Hall of Fame in Newport, Rhode Island. And Mark McCormick was one of those really rare human beings who could both dream great dreams and then actually make them real. A remarkable person. And tonight we honor his memory by acclaiming those who exemplify his spirit and accomplishments. And there is no one better suited to lead us in this effort tonight than Betsy Nagelson McCormick, a charter member of the Women's Tennis Hall of Fame, a professional tennis player herself, philanthropist, commentator, author, coach, and mother. Betsy has excelled in so many different spheres. And except once, when awaiting the imminent birth of her daughter Maggie, who is here, somewhere in this hall, Betsy has been at the helm on these occasions every time the Hall of Fame has gathered for induction rites. She also has been a partner, opponent, and friend of many of our inductees over the years. Now I have a mission tonight that is going to need Betsy's help, and this is going to be a particularly enjoyable mission, in part because I believe it will actually surprise the person it concerns. A bit of background. This past May, William and Mary, actually in this very room, hosted our first annual celebration of women's athletics, bringing together generations of women coaches and athletes from William and Mary. And that weekend's honoree was the incomparable Millie West, a person of small stature, but great heart, great talent and accomplishment, and boundless enthusiasm. At that time, it was announced that William and Mary's outdoor tennis facility would henceforth go by the name Millie West. And it's going by the name Willie West because Millie has been a driving force behind women's athletics at the college for more than 50 years. She began in aquatics here, directing a synchronized swimming team called the Mermettes, which I am told became very famous. She then took the reins of women's tennis in 1965. And in 2 tours as our women's tennis coach, Millie amassed a career record of 202 wins, 28 losses, and 2 ties. Her teams won 87% of the time. Now that is a flatly amazing record. And Millie's success in coaching was equaled by her success as an administrative leader. She led William and Mary through the implementation of Title IX, the transition to NCAA competition for women's athletics here, and the merger of men's and women's athletic programs under one department. That is a phenomenal record of administrative success. And Millie's ability as a fundraiser is truly the stuff of legend. For example, she spearheaded the college's efforts to attract the Hall of Fame to William and Mary and remains an integral part of that organization's success. So, the mission. Let me now say, and Betsy, I need you here. Oh, there you are. Good. Wait a minute. We're looking for what we're supposed to do. All right, in addition to naming the college's outdoor tennis facility Millie West, there is also going to be constructed a gated and elegant, ferocious gated entryway to this facility in her honor. Betsy was one of the financial angels who made it possible. So, Millie, come up here and we will give you a graven image of this elegant gateway. Now, Betsy is presenting Millie with a graven image of said gateway, and it is, in fact, in my judgment, really elegant.
Oh my God. We need the money other places.
No. We needed the money on this gateway, and we will all like it.
Oh my goodness. You can't see that.
Yes, we do.
We do need it.
We don't. We need the money.
And we appreciate you and love you, and we are grateful, and therefore you are having a gateway.
You have overstated everything. And Betsy and Mark, I mean, gosh, you meant so much to me, but this is too much. The sign was enough. There's a sign.
No, that was the warm-up.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Oh my God. I can't believe you did this.
No.
And thank you for being here. It means a lot to all of us to have the president here, doesn't it?
I would not have missed it. Now, one last thing while Millie is up here. This is an occasion to celebrate women's tennis, but we happen to have with us tonight one of the greatest men's tennis players at the college ever. Garner Anthony, stand up and take a bow. All right, Millie, you and I are set free, I think.
Oh my goodness. It is lonely. Pass it around. And I'm going to sit over here because I'm going to help you pass it around.
Send the gateway around.
Well, thank you, President Reevely, so much for being here and for the introduction. And I'm just so happy and thrilled to be here. I absolutely know I could never fill Mark's shoes, but I can tell you that I so truly enjoy the opportunity to continue this incredibly special connection to the place that Mark loved so dearly. Mark and I shared so many wonderful, happy, and memorable times here in Williamsburg, and I thank you so much for your great efforts to keep his memory alive. I also know how especially proud he would be that I have become an honorary alum, for which I am truly, truly, truly honored. So I also was Maggie, my daughter, who is here. We were here in May to celebrate, to help with the celebration of the women athletics that President Reevely just spoke about. And it was such an incredible weekend to be here with all the amazing athletes that have, women athletes that have passed through this great college, but also to celebrate Millie West's incredible, amazing career here at William & Mary. And there's not a person in this room that does not love Millie West, and I am one of her biggest fans. So thank you, Millie. Well, every induction class has been so very special, but this one is truly amazing because many of the recipients are my friends, and they have brought many of their friends who are also my friends, and I've had the great pleasure of playing doubles with some of you. This year, however, is a landmark. For the first time since athletic programs were split into 3 divisions, a Division III player, Courtney Allen, and coach Ed Hegman will be inducted. This division may not award athletic scholarships, but you will see that this has not been a deterrent for these inductees. As hard as we try, it is not possible to adequately cover all of the accomplishments of our inductees. The program, the Hall of Fame exhibit, and the video are our attempt at giving you a sense of their personal and professional achievements and their dedication to the game. All have played collegiate tennis and have gone on to become professionals in the game without letting their tennis careers interfere with their education. Along the way, all 6 inductees have cleared barriers so that today's players can train and compete at a higher level. Many are still involved in the game, teaching and training young players of today. For the players in the audience, I hope meeting and hearing about and from the inductees tonight will give you a deeper appreciation for what they have done to expand your tennis opportunities. I hope you will be motivated to work harder at pursuing your goals and learn the value of giving back to others. Before we move into the program, I want to relay to you many messages that have been received from your friends. Kathy Jordan, who couldn't be here because her father this very night is being inducted posthumously into the Middle States Hall of Fame, sends her love to all. B. Kilgore, Carrie's doubles partner in the 1973 Nationals, sends her best to all of you. She wishes she could be here as well to celebrate this honor. Many others have also sent congratulatory messages to many of you that are here tonight. So let's begin the inductions of our 2010 inductees. At 13, Courtney tried out for the high school tennis team as a social outlet. It didn't take long for her to be hooked on the game. From that point on, she never looked back. Some of her early inspiration came from fellow freshman Andrea Yeager. Andrea, by the way, is a good friend of mine, and she participated in the dedication of the McCormick-Nagelson Tennis Center in 1995. Andrea had won the Illinois State Singles Championships, and it amazed Courtney that she could be so good at her same age. Courtney started working harder. She progressed quickly, and by the time she was a senior, she and her doubles partner, Jill Jocelyn, were #1 in the state and held the #1 ranking in the Western section. In high school, Courtney had the reputation of being slightly kamikaze, so her basketball coach would send her into the game when they needed a foul. It worked every time. She is also known for her ability to keep a station wagon under control when a wheel falls off while she's driving. Courtney's unparalleled collegiate record under the guidance of Lynn Gerber Delaney at Principia is remarkable and is well chronicled in the program and the video which follows. No other collegiate player has ever won 6 national championships in 4 years of college. This record will likely stand forever. After college, feeling very confident after 6 collegiate national championship titles, she embarked on the tour for the next 4 years. By her own account, her record was unremarkable, but the education she received while traveling was equivalent to another degree. The following is her story of that year on the tour in England. She celebrated her 21st birthday at the Hard Rock Cafe in London. In Manchester, she tasted the fish and chips, only to find out it was Long John Silver without the newspaper. She experienced the buzz when she ordered a large cider to wash down the beef stew and jacket potato. She talks about all of this to admit that she got her butt kicked so soundly that she had plenty of time to see the sights, fatten up on local food, and learn the difference between American and English apple cider. Then there was South America, but that's another story. Let's get back to the States to focus on her college career, which is the main reason she is being honored here tonight. Let the cameras roll on Courtney.
Winning 1 national collegiate title is an outstanding accomplishment. Courtney Allen won 6, and she appeared in 8 straight NCAA Division III finals from 1984 through 1987 at Principia College in Elsa, Illinois. Allen didn't even begin playing tennis until the age of 13, but she practiced hard and improved fast. Within a year, she was #1 on the JV team at Bloomington High School in Illinois, and she continued to rise through the ranks. With the help of local teaching pro Buddy Strawn, Allen and her doubles partner Jill Jocelyn developed formidable skills, winning the state regionals in their senior year. Entering the state championships in 1982, the team of Allen and Jocelyn had a perfect 33-0 record. They improved on perfection, sweeping the competition and winning the state title, a first for Bloomington High and coach Sue Sylvie. Allen and Jocelyn went on to earn the #1 doubles ranking in the Western section and qualified for Junior Whiteman Cup play. With her stellar high school record, Allen was recruited by a number of Division I schools. She chose Principia instead and the opportunity to work with coach Lynn Gerber Delaney. Lynn and her father, Larry Gerber, the men's coach, had already established a national winning tradition for the school. With Allen as a key performer, Principia dominated Division III competition over the next 4 years. As a freshman in 1984, Allen won the national singles title in just 39 minutes, then took the doubles title with partner Susie Verheuel. That same year, she earned Division III Rookie of the Year honors and was named to the Collegiate All-Star team by Tennis Magazine and the ITA. Allen made it to the doubles finals the following year, again pairing with Susie Verheuel, and she successfully defended her singles title with her biggest fans, her parents, cheering her on. In a historic first for Division III, Principia took home both the men's and women's singles titles, earning Allen and men's champ Toby Clark a spot in Sports Illustrated's Faces in the Crowd. As a junior in '86, Allen made it to the finals of both the ITA's Small College National Championships and the NCAA Division III tournament in singles. She also won the Division III doubles title with Sue Godfrey. With her coach keeping a watchful eye, Allen was determined to win back her singles title as a senior. She met that challenge and more, crowning her college career with the Division III singles and doubles titles, plus winning National Senior Player of the Year honors. With her diploma and trophies in hand, Allen went pro. She spent the next 4 years on the circuit and earning a world ranking in both singles and doubles. Throughout her years on tour, Allen was sponsored by an Atlanta couple, Marion and George Mayer. Their generosity allowed Courtney to pursue her dream of playing professional tennis. Allen settled in Atlanta after retiring from the tour, becoming a highly regarded teaching pro. She's focused on working with young players, nurturing their future success in national, junior, and collegiate competition. In 2006, Allen was inducted into the Principia College Athletic Hall of Fame, with her mom still leading the cheering section. Allen is now the owner of the CAO Tennis Academy located in Metro Atlanta. A role model for both children and adults, she continues to inspire students of all ages to learn and love the game.
While Courtney comes to the podium, I would like to recognize her family members, her coaches Buddy Strawn and Lynn Gerber Delaney, and many friends, including her doubles partner, Jocelyn Gilbert, who are here to celebrate her induction this evening. Would all of you please stand? The president of Principia, Josh Palmer, The president of Principia, Josh Palmer, a former professor at William & Mary, wanted to be here as well, but could not because of a Board of Trustees meeting this weekend. Courtney?
College tennis is a team sport, and so you have to learn to become a team player. And if you go in as an individual, there's a learning curve there. And it's nice to have that experience with other people. And the winning and the losing is to be shared with other people is nice. So,
is there a special moment in your college career that you look back on and say that was as good as it gets?
I would have to say that the first championships I won my freshman year were very special for me. And I won 3 of those national championships with 2 other people. Susie Verheuel-Kratz was my doubles partner my freshman year, and we won our first national championship together, and that was very special for me. And also Sue Godfrey Huffman and I won 2 championships together, and that was very special for me too.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks.
Well, this is a little overwhelmed, but I just like to say how thrilled I am to be here this evening. And I have to admit, when Millie first called me, I didn't quite understand what she was saying, so I made her stop and restart her story a couple times because I thought she was trying to sell me something. And I actually, after the first pass or 2, I thought I'd won a trip to Williamsburg. But to be included in this group of players is awesome. And I teach kids today, and I tell them all the time that playing collegiate tennis is a great experience. And it doesn't matter if you're recruited by the big Division I schools like Stanford or USC, or the small Division III schools like Principia College. And I am so grateful to be included in this group for my contribution in Division III. And my family is here, and it starts with great tennis parents. My mom and dad love the game, and they made it possible for me to pursue it. And I had great support in Bloomington, Illinois. Buddy Strawn is here, my coach growing up, and my friend Jill Jocelyn is here. And the coaches from Principia College, the current coaches, are here, and I'm so grateful. So many people came from such a distance to see this. Excuse me. There's one person in particular I'd like to recognize tonight, and Lynn Gerber Dugan now She was married last week. Was with me every step of the way. She recruited me. She helped develop my game. She encouraged me. She supported me. We had a conversation a year or two after I had graduated from college, and she said to me, "I believed in you, and you trusted me." And that's the sum total of our relationship. And she's had quite a challenge in the past year and a half, and I'm so grateful that she's in my life and that she's here tonight. And I especially want to recognize Lynn Gerber-Dugan. So thank you very much for including me in this. It's a thrill, it's an honor, and thank you everybody who came such great distance to see this. I'm very grateful.
Coaching a team to 7 national championships can be grueling for both the coach and player. It requires dedication and a work ethic that balances physical and mental training. David had the ability to balance all aspects of coaching such a team. He made the work fun. Coaches will tell you that that is no easy task at any level. Sheila McInerney, now a coach at Arizona State, can attest to his knowledge of the game, his intelligence, and his ability to make hard work challenging and fun. This sense of balance and ability made the journey fun and were the reasons his team were so successful. Sheila attributes his coaching style and her positive experiences as a member of his team as the primary reasons she pursued a career in coaching and is still coaching today. Dave is well respected as a coach and a formidable figure on the court. His presence on the court during a match often caused the opponent to shudder, imagining that he was honing in on the opponent's weaknesses and providing his players with strategies to break down their game. Any indication of his dedication that the team comes first, he took them on his honeymoon. He was married on June 15. He and his understanding bride left with the team the next day for the Collegiate Nationals at Kalamazoo. His honeymoon suite was in a Kalamazoo dorm. That is a true story.
David Borelli started out in life planning to become a lawyer. Fortunately for the tennis world, he changed his mind. He became a coach and a coaching legend, winning 7 national titles as head of women's tennis at the University of Southern California. A nationally ranked junior player, he competed all 4 years on the men's team as a USC undergraduate, winning an Outstanding Senior Scholar Athlete Award. Borelli began coaching the newly formed women's team while still a student at USC's law school. When I first started, law school was the priority and tennis was secondary, he said. Then tennis became the priority and law school was secondary. With tennis at the forefront, Borelli applied his tennis smarts and natural coaching skills to building a powerhouse Trojan team. Over 14 seasons, he compiled an astounding record with 302 victories and just 45 defeats, including a 66-match win streak over 2 seasons. He is the only coach in history whose teams won all 3 collegiate women's team championships, USTA, AIAW, and the NCAA. His players won 5 national collegiate singles titles and 1 national doubles title. In 1979, 4 of his players were ranked in the top 35 in the world. In total, 25 of his players earned 56 All-American honors. In 1981, Borelli was recognized for his achievements as the NCAA Coach of the Year. 2 years later, he became the youngest women's tennis coach ever to win an NCAA Division I title, as USC finished the season with a perfect 33-0 record. He celebrated his 7th national title in 1985 with his former player Barbara Hallquist joining him as an assistant coach. Hallquist, the winner of 2 national collegiate singles titles, credits her success to Coach Borelli. She said, "He had an immensely positive impact on me. His enthusiasm, knowledge, and his love for the game were incredibly infectious. Whatever playing or coaching success I've experienced is directly attributable to my time spent with Dave." Borelli always saw himself as a teacher first. After he left USC, Borelli's affinity for teaching led him to a career as a teaching pro. He earned USPTA Pro of the Year honors in 1997. He spent 4 years with the USTA as a professional tour coach in charge of the Rookie Pro program, sharing his tennis acumen with rising young stars including Marty Fish, Robbie Ginepri, and former collegiate standouts Brian Vahali and Jeff Morrison. In 2002, Borelli returned to collegiate coaching, heading up the women's tennis program at Texas Christian University. Adding more awards to his trophy case, Borelli was twice named Conference Coach of the Year and earned ITA Regional Coach of the Year honors in 2005. In 2006, he led the Horned Frogs to their first ever NCAA Sweet 16 appearance. Borelli then became coach of the TCU men's squad, revitalizing the team and leading them to 3 conference championships. This past summer, he returned to head up the women's program as well. Reflecting back on his career success, Borelli keeps it simple. Anything I involve myself in, I want to be the best and I want my kids to be the best. For the hundreds of players whose lives he's touched, there is no doubt David Borelli is the best.
And while Dave comes to the podium, I want to recognize the many friends and family and players who have traveled to Williamsburg to share this honor with him. Could you, friends of Dave Borelli, please stand and be recognized?
It was like an epiphany, because I think when that happens, you sit down, you take a step back, and you think about the implications of it and the people that have already been in the Hall of Fame and inducted, like Frank Brennan and all the great people in the past that I knew as great players, Louise Bruff and Billie Jean and people like that, and to be included in that group, and particularly being included with a player you coached that meant a lot to you, is pretty extraordinary. And I think it kind of puts you in a position to define what your career and what the kids meant to you, because it's really all about the kids, and they're the ones that created this situation for me by being such good kids and great players. And so I'm pretty blessed. I have no complaints, and I certainly am very fortunate and very lucky, and probably the happiest person in the world right now.
Well, Gary, I'm a little nervous because I had planned to speak for about 14 hours, but since you have an event tomorrow night, I guess I have to keep it short. And most of you who know me know that I could probably speak for 14 hours, but before I say anything, I certainly want to acknowledge the efforts and the time spent by obviously Millie, and it's a great thing what's happening, and of course being named after you, and I certainly want to thank you for your time, and Chris, and certainly Betsy and William and Mary for putting on this whole event and being responsible for it. I'd also like to acknowledge some people that are here today. Certainly, it wouldn't mean as much to me if Frank Brennan, as I mentioned last night, and his wife weren't here, and certainly Rich Gallion, who's the women's coach at SC. I think both of them being here really means a great deal to me, and I want you all to know that, and I'm very, very happy about that. Also have several friends, and Ted, Kevin, my assistant coach, Jason, who was with me with the women's program and men's program, came over with the women's program, and of course my former assistant coach, Chris Jew, I want to acknowledge, and my senior administrator, Kim Johnson at TCU. I'm glad you came, and I appreciate it very much. And yesterday, I had one of those, what I call a freeze frame day. I have a term that I use whenever something's really exceptional and something I just want to hold on to and replay. It's what I call freeze frame. It's like on a video. You hold it and replay. And I had 6 kids that I coach and been involved with, and it was probably one of the most extraordinary days that I could have experienced, and that was with obviously Mac and Gretchen, who had to leave today, and Desi and Barbara, of course, and Stacy and Laura. It was pretty extraordinary. We spent the whole day together, and I can't imagine the last time we all got together like that. I've had a pretty unique experience as far as a journey in college coaching. I was 23 when I was a head coach at USC, and I was the youngest head coach there on the staff, and won my first championship actually at 26, a USTA event. And the thing is, when you had a lot of success and actually left college coaching for about 13 years and came back to college coaching at a great place called TCU. And now I'm 59 and I'm the oldest head coach on the coaching staff at TCU, which is pretty extraordinary. But through all that, I think when you get older, your perception or your perspective of what your responsibilities are or what you're all about or what your life is all about is different. You understand a little better. And I think I had so much success, particularly when I was young, I don't think I really appreciated just exactly what I really had or what was going on. And now, as an older person, I think I understand better the concept of being involved in the moment, at the present. You know, when you're a college coach or a coach in anything, you try to talk to your kids about the concept that, you know, when you're playing a match, stay in the present, stay in the moment, stay in the game, don't focus on the result, don't focus on the winning or losing. And it's the same thing about life. Sometimes you go out there and, you know, everything is going so well, and so you have to just take a step back, take a deep breath and go, wow, this is amazing. And when we're young, we don't tend to do that. We move on fast and fast, and we're thinking about the future. But as you get older and your best days are behind you and fewer days are ahead of you, I think you look at that more. And yesterday, I think, was an epiphany for me, spending the time with the kids that I had, and it was frankly overwhelming. And I just want to tell them that I really appreciate you guys a lot. I really do. And, you know, I appreciate what you're all about, and I appreciate the time I spent with you and my experience with you, and what you meant to me and what you've done for me, and why I'm here because of all of you. You know, it's all about the kids. It's always about the kids. And I have had a great, great run, and I still have a lot of years ahead of me, and my goal is to win a national title at TCU. And I've had wonderful kids who are here with me right now, and I've been able to coach wonderful kids throughout my career. And you know, tomorrow I'm going to wake up, get on the plane and go home and work with a bunch of great kids that I love to death and I really appreciate a lot. And I think I'm lucky that I'm older and understand that more, and certainly being acknowledged for being a college coach is pretty exceptional. And it's great that at this age I can maybe understand it better. Another thing is, Barbara, you know, being inducted with you means a lot to me. And when you talk about a person who is a great role model and is everything you want in a person, as far as a student athlete, a great player, a mother, a wife, and everything else, and she's pretty extraordinary. We had so many wonderful experiences, and I'm so privileged and so honored that we're together on this. And it means the whole world to me, and that all our close teammates are together. And, you know, I just, you know, I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, I don't want to go on much longer. I certainly want to tell you that I'm honored to be with the other candidates. They're pretty special, and all the accomplishments, you know, being a winner, you're a winner in every area and everything. It carries over in everything, and I'm just really lucky to be with some really special people. And finally, I just want to acknowledge the ITA. I think you know, I was out of college coaching for about 14-year period, and I was involved in college coaching when the ITA was just starting out, and came back and I'm looking at this thing, and I just wish to God the NCAA would turn everything over to them, because they don't know what they're doing, the ITA does. But I just want to acknowledge their time and involvement, which is really, really, really important. So again, I appreciate everything. I really appreciate everything in my life, from what my kids have done for me and what all of you have done. And that's all I really have to say, and thank you very, very, very much.
Barbara Hallquist de Groot. Barbara was the hot recruit as a freshman, and her teammates were very wary of her arrival at USC. Gretchen Galt and Diane Desfour were worried that they would lose their top positions on the team. They need not have worried. Yes, they got bumped down in the lineup, but Barbara quickly won the team over with her good nature and team spirit. A team player in every sense of the word, she rose to the top without ever putting herself first. She did any and everything she could do to help the team. She was the star, the face of the USC team. Even so, Barbara fit right into the training routine, and when challenged, was always hardest on herself. Dave reports she got very mad at herself one time and slapped herself so hard she ended up with a flaming red face. Barb was on the quiet side, but she knew how to have fun. She instigated the mooning of passing cars after an AIAW victory in Arizona. Her competitive spirit extended beyond the courts, as shown when she and Dave entertained and amazed the team with their constant and sometimes loud contest to see who could name the title and the artist of the song playing on the radio. Maybe Barbara will tell us who won some of those contests. And as Barbara played professionally for a while, I got the wonderful privilege of not only playing with Barbara, but getting to know her and really appreciating the type of human being that she is, that Dave Borelli just talked about. And Barbara, I'm very proud of you tonight for being inducted. So let's learn more about Barbara in this short video.
Fierce and focused on the court, Barbara Hallquist worked to make every shot a winner. I try my best to never give up. That's what Hallquist said as a 19-year-old. As long as you try, you'll never lose anything completely. Hallquist's winning ways began at Arcadia, California's rec department, where she started tennis lessons at age 10. Encouraged by her parents, she worked hard on her game. By high school, she became Southern California's top-ranked junior, competing on the national circuit with support from the Pasadena Foothill tennis patrons. At the patrons' Saturday clinic, Hallquist sharpened her strong serve and volley game through lessons with the great Pancho Segura. She crowned her junior career with 2 national titles and was awarded the USTA's Girls Sportsmanship Trophy in 1975. 3 years after the passage of Title IX, Hallquist became the first woman to receive a full athletic scholarship at the University of Southern California. A member of the fledgling women's tennis team, she helped pioneer a championship legacy for the Trojans that continues to this day. Under the guidance of USC coach David Borelli, Hallquist won 2 national collegiate singles titles in 1976 and 1977 and was a key member of 4 national collegiate championship teams. During her college years, Hallquist also continued to play in international team competition, and she took home numerous California and USTA titles, including the national 21 and under singles. A 4-time All-American, Hallquist was named USC's Female Senior Scholar Athlete in 1979. As a pro, Hallquist proved to be fearless on the courts. After she teamed up with fellow Trojan Diane Desfour at Wimbledon, the pair went on to reach the quarterfinals at the U.S. Open later that summer. Hallquist competed in all 4 Grand Slam events and reached a career-high ranking of number 30 in the world. And she managed to have a little fun along the way. In 1983, Hallquist retired from the circuit and married John de Groot, a graduate of USC Business School. 2 years later, Barbara de Groot returned to her alma mater to work as assistant coach of the women's tennis team, reuniting with her old coach, David Borelli. She helped carry on the winning tradition she had pioneered a decade earlier, working with such standouts as Claudia Hernandez, Mexico's 6-time national singles champion. Under Borelli and de Groot, the Trojan women celebrated a 7th national championship title in 1985. In 1988, de Groot left USC to raise a family. Her son Matthew is now a student at Davidson University, while her daughter Shelby has followed in her mom's footsteps at USC. With her children grown, de Groot has returned to the game she loves. As coach of girls varsity tennis at Cate School in California, she's led her team to the Condor League title 2 years in a row. Back in 1979, sports columnist Roger Murray wrote of Barbara Hallquist, "She's driven by a fierce competitiveness, yet shows sensitivity and compassion to all those with whom she comes in contact. She's a class lady. 3 decades later, as a mom, sister, aunt, daughter, and athlete, she still fits that description to a T.
As Barbara comes forward, I would like to introduce Barbara's husband, John, her son, Matthew, and daughter, Shelby, who have joined with Barbara here this evening, and other members of her family, her teammates, and many friends. If all of you would stand who are here with Barbara tonight.
When Millie West called me, I mean, it was a huge surprise and a wonderful surprise. College tennis was definitely the happiest years of my tennis playing career, and to be able to look back on it in this fashion and be acknowledged for some successes that I had during that time is really special, really, really special.
It must be special as well having your coach inducted the same year you.
Exactly right. Yeah, I think Dave and I may have kind of inched in on each other's coattails there. I'm a small part of why Dave's here. I mean, he had an amazing run at USC and is continuing to be successful at TCU, but he was the main reason I was so successful at SC. I mean, he was an incredible coach, an amazing friend, and anything I did there I attribute directly to Dave. Yeah, it was, I couldn't have done it without him. I wouldn't be here without him. Oh, man. Barb Jordan, who was inducted several years ago, Stanford, sent me a nice email congratulating me, but she warned me. She said that the speech is just daunting. She said that's the toughest part, and she had no idea. Just thinking about this evening and knowing that I was going to have to say something, and Brelly, thank you for going on so long, because I got notes like you wouldn't believe here. But I thought, okay, if I just don't have to follow Joanne Russell, I'll be okay. All right, I think I can survive. But no, I had to follow my friend and coach, and Courtney and Dave, I don't know how you did that so effortlessly and succinctly and to the point, and I better get going here. Okay. This has been an amazing weekend, and I thank everybody, College of William & Mary and ITA and Millie. Sheila McInerney was singing your praises, years ago, and as hard as she tried, she couldn't do it justice, because, I mean, meeting you and learning all about you and what you've contributed to women's tennis and College of William & Mary, it's been a pleasure and a joy to meet you, and you're awe-inspiring, so thank you so much. And everybody that's been involved with this weekend that made it happen, particularly Chris Bragg and Sarah Pacini, and who were so patient and kind, and all their communications with me, putting this together. And Brian Williams with the video that I kind of babbled through earlier, and hopefully it came out okay. But and to Betsy, with so many contemporaries here, you could have at least tried to look a little older. I mean, you look, it's scary. You look younger. I mean, it's not fair. But everything that you and Mark have done for the college and for creating this incredible home for the Hall of Fame, it's amazing. I did have the good fortune of playing when Betsy played. I played a shorter time, but I had the misfortune of playing her many times and always being on the wrong side of the defeated, Nagelson defeated Hallquist. But it was, so special to be out there just in your company, and you're an amazing role model, and thank you for everything you've done. And the fellow inductees, I guess I'm kind of fortunate that they selected 6 this year, or I may have been the odd man out. I don't know, Borelli, I think they probably didn't want to separate us, they kept us together, so thank you. Yeah, I know, I feel so honored to be here in this company. And now for the kind of the emotional part. Last night I made a huge blunder and omission in just quickly introducing everybody that had come on my behalf, and I forgot to mention my husband, John. Not good. But a more loving and devoted advocate I couldn't have in my life. And you only forget the ones you love, John. Just remember that. And it's nice that I stopped competing professionally right after John and I were married. And so he never got to see his name DeGroat up on the Wimbledon match play board, Mrs. John DeGroat, like Mrs. John Lloyd. He never got to see, Mrs. John DeGroat. But now this is a much more special thing. We get to see Hallquist DeGroat in the Hall of Fame. And to my beautiful kids, Matthew and Shelby, and just to clear the record, Shelby is at Davidson, and Matthew is at USC. I know they both would want to make that clear. It was just a little blip in the, and I'm kind of sorry that I never really overly encouraged my kids to play tennis, but they were just so good that at everything else they did. They are the true athletes, the best athletes in our family. They excelled at everything, and I'm just so happy that you're both here to celebrate with me, and you took the time off of your busy college and partying schedule to be with your mom. I appreciate it. Yeah. And Robbie Masser, my son's best friend, made the trip up from University of Richmond, baseball player extraordinaire. He's part of the family, representing the Masser clan from Pasadena. Thank you, Robbie, for being here. And my sister and nephew, Susie and Kyle Clothier. I think they've had more fun than anybody this weekend. I mean, they've just had the most incredible time. And my sister, growing up, she likes to recount humorously and somewhat frustratingly countless instances where upon meeting someone, that individual would say, "Oh, you're the tennis player," or "Oh, Dick has another daughter." And you know what? What doesn't kill you, Soups, makes you stronger. And you're the strongest person I know. You're an amazing mom. So thank you for being here with your amazing son, who will no doubt be in the Baseball Hall of Fame one day. Mom, you're probably the real reason that I didn't over-encourage Matthew and Shelby, because you set the bar so high as a supportive parent who made it possible for me to be up here tonight and to pursue my tennis career. You spent hours in the car driving, hours hiding behind trees while I was playing, sewing tennis dresses. I mean, you did it all, and I cannot thank you enough, and that's why I'm here. And speaking for reasons of being here, now I've got to get to my university. I can sum it up in 3 letters. USC. It was definitely the most rewarding and fun years of my tennis playing career, if not my life. Rich Gallion, as Dave mentioned, the current SC tennis coach, is here, and Rich, I can't thank you enough for representing the university. I was fortunate enough, and partially thanks to Millie and her efforts, in 1975, 3 years after Title IX was enacted, thanks to Richard Nixon. Who knew? But he enacted Title IX. I discovered that. Watergate and Title IX is Richard Nixon. But timing is really everything, and I was so fortunate that I received a full athletic scholarship at SC, and the then Associate Athletic Director Barbara Hedges just convinced me that I needed to be part of the Trojan family. And from the first day of practice, when I didn't even know Dave Borelli was going to be the coach, I mean, talk about timing. I just showed up, and there was Dave, and Diane Desforst-Stalder, and Gretchen Galt, and it just started the most amazing run of fun and tennis wins. And then came Sheila McInerney, who, oh my gosh, I can't say enough about Mac, my doubles partner and friend, and I mean, and then Stacy Margolin came, and I played number 1 my first 2 years, and then that was that. Stacy came, and then a slew of other Southern Californians came, and a little mini dynasty began. But there's not a doubt in my mind that whatever success I had at SC was, in fact, as I mentioned, directly related to that guy there, David Borelli. We called him the Italian Stallion, and from his pictures you can see why. He was a quintessential coach, smart and knowledgeable. He was a great motivator. I mean, that was his strength. He could, you know, he made you better, you wanted to be better, and you wanted to win for this man. He was truly inspirational. And I'm just so thankful that I went there and that you made it so much fun for us, Dave. We were lucky to have you. TCU is really lucky to have you. And I think you left because maybe you saw the football writing on the wall or something. And now you're at TCU. That's, you know, that's understandable. But, I mean, if I've forgotten anybody, I mean, I just thank you all for being here. And Millie, thanks so much again for a memory of a lifetime. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Ed Hegman. Ed credits his mother, a physical education teacher in the 20s and 30s, with teaching him about sports, fishing, to be kind and respectful of all people, and above all, to have faith in himself. His father, an administrator and Little League baseball coach, taught him the importance of sportsmanship and having a strong work ethic. He taught Ed good business practices and gave him the opportunity to live his coaching dream. Millie West has known Ed for the 30 years plus that he has been at Mary Washington. She attests that those lessons instilled in him by his parents have guided him throughout his professional and personal life. His players know firsthand that he is fair, fun, dedicated, and always gives more than he asks of others. Tonight, he is being honored for his ability to build national-level players and championship teams. But that is just a small part of what Ed has created at Mary Washington. Ed has taken small athletic programs for women and expanded it into a prominent program for men and women. He has raised funds for the program and built new facilities, and he is still pushing for more today. It would not come as a surprise if the program became the Ed Hegman Athletic Program. Let's roll the cameras.
For Ed Hegman, tennis has been a lifelong passion. As coach at the University of Mary Washington, he led his teams to 3 national championships during his distinguished career. But as Hegman always taught his players, athletics isn't just about winning. It's about values, a strong work ethic, good sportsmanship, respect, and kindness. He learned those values from his parents, Mary Louise, a physical education teacher, and Ed, an administrator and Little League coach. Born and raised in Pittsburgh, Hegman had childhood dreams of reaching the major leagues. A 3-sport athlete in high school, he focused on baseball at Bucknell University. Fortunately for my tennis career, he said, I never quite developed a big league fastball. Between college and military service in Vietnam, Hegman picked up his old Spalding Doris Hart autographed pink tennis racket, which caused him a few physical altercations in his youth. Ed rediscovered his love for the game, and tennis became his top priority. He decided to pursue a career in physical education, earning an MS degree at Springfield College, where he coached the women's tennis team, and then a doctorate at Temple. Hegman began his career at Mary Washington in 1976 as both athletic director and coach, early on developing the women's tennis program. His closest career mentors included the women's tennis coach at nearby William & Mary, the inimitable Millie West. Within 6 years, on a shoestring budget, he led his 1982 team to the AIAW National Championship. Driving back from Madison, Wisconsin, Hegman and the team celebrated with his mom. In 1988, Hegman's players captured another national title, this time at the NCAA Division III Championships. That same year, in honor of his achievements and service to the game, Hegman was named Division III Women's Tennis Coach of the Year. By 1990, the Eagles had appeared in 9 national tournaments over 10 seasons. They entered the 1991 NCAA Division III tournament with high hopes. Their hopes were more than realized as Mary Washington won a 3rd national title. By 1999, Hegman's last year of coaching, he had built quite a coaching resume. 3 national titles, 9 straight conference titles, numerous individual and team regional titles, 18 All-Americans, 10 Conference Players of the Year. He crowned his career by winning National Coach of the Year honors a 2nd time. Continuing on as Mary Washington's athletic director, Hegman oversaw planning and construction for a new university tennis center which opened in 2005. In tribute, players from all eras returned for the center's grand opening, presenting a plaque inscribed with their coach's favorite mantra, "No guts, no glory." Now presiding over 23 varsity sports at Mary Washington and preparing to open a new 2,000-seat arena next year, Hegman was honored as the 2010 Athletic Director of the Year by the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics. In a career spanning 35 years, Ed Hegman has lived out the values of his parents, and his parents would be proud indeed.
And as Ed comes to the podium, I would like for all of Ed's friends and former players to stand and be recognized.
I got the call from Millie a few months ago, and when she said, "You're going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame," I started literally a little shaking a little bit, and I actually had a few tears well up because it started bringing back memories. I'd given up coaching 10 years ago and miss it terribly, and the thought of going to that Hall of Fame was just kind of took me back. And then I got on the website to see what it was all about, and I saw names like Billie Jean King, Doris Hart, people like that. You know, Doris Hart was my first tennis racket, pink tennis racket with a red heart, for which I got in a few fights when I was a kid, but that was just overwhelming, just so exciting. Fortunately, Millie tells me I only have 5 minutes. Like Dave, people have said giving me a microphone is sort of like giving a microphone to an auctioneer or a minister. Could go on and on. So I hope you will excuse me for reading everything, but I'm so afraid if I start speaking extemporaneously, I'll forget somebody or something, and that's not a good thing here tonight. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for the greatest and most humbling honor I have ever received. Particular thanks to 2 of those committee members here tonight, Millie West, my very good friend, role model, successful coach and administrator at William & Mary, and my mentor for the past 35 years, and Sue Ortell, my friend and Division III tennis coaching colleague for many years at Luther College in Iowa. Congratulations to all my fellow inductees, and particularly Courtney Allen, who I personally watched for 4 years as she dominated the Division III Women's Tennis National Championship tournaments in the mid-1980s. And other inductees, Lois Blackburn Bryan, longtime friend and Division III colleague who was posthumously inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1997. And Doris Hart, outstanding professional player in the 40s and 50s whose signature pink racket with a red heart became my first racket. Also, my many thanks to Chris Bragg and Sarah Piccini for their outstanding behind-the-scenes organizational efforts for making this such a magnificent event. I'm dedicating this award to those persons I have labeled the 3 Ps, for I believe they are directly responsible for this award. My parents, Ed and Mary Louise Hegman, my players, far too numerous to individually name, and the parents of my players. My mom, a physical education teacher in the 1930s, taught me the value of sports, respect for all persons, regardless of gender or race, kindness, perseverance, thriftiness, and faith in God. My mom, all 4'11" of her, was particularly insistent that I always show respect for elders and women. To this day, I always open doors for women, even though some of them say to me, "I'll do it myself." For I know my mom, looking down from heaven, would not hesitate to put her finger up in my face as she did many times, to emphasize a point and remind me that if I don't show that respect at all times, I will never, ever be too old to receive another lesson from her beloved Board of Education, a very large and hard, handmade by my grandfather, wooden paddle. My dad, a very successful administrator and also my Little League and Pony League baseball coach, taught me the importance and value of a strong work ethic, business acumen, sportsmanship, organization, and gave me the opportunity to live my coaching dream. Both my parents are gone now, but their memory will live with me forever. The second of the 3 Ps, my players, from high school to college, who won the matches and championships that qualified me for this award. Without question, they provided me with the key to the Hall of Fame. Without their dedication, determination, outstanding competitiveness, and commitment to excellence, both on and off the court, there is no Hall of Fame award for me. I'm sure at times these players resented this crusty old school coach who relentlessly pushed them to achieve goals and heights they never thought possible. But hopefully today, they look back with great pride in their achievements and realize that through it all, I really loved them, win or lose. I know it was often very confusing to them that my harshest words often followed a win, but I was constantly demanding physical as well as mental perfection. When I delivered those tough messages describing poor performances or old habits that just weren't dying fast enough, I suspect they were not feeling my love, but only the sting of my words. Fortunately, many were tough enough to handle that rigorous developmental process, and ultimately they experienced the kind of collegiate tennis careers that most players only get to dream about. I love them all, and their memory often brings tears to my eyes and warmth to my heart. I sincerely hope I made as positive a difference in their lives as they have in mine. I thank them all. The last of the 3 Ps responsible for this award, and unfortunately I think often overlooked in today's athletic events, the parents of my players. I was blessed with many players whose parents are what I call old school. They stress strong work ethics, perseverance, stick-to-itiveness, as my mother would say, making a commitment and sticking to it, particularly in the tough times. These parents supported and nurtured the strong competitive attitudes exhibited by their daughters when other parents around them did not believe that daughters should be so very aggressive and competitive. These parents supported my philosophy of coaching athletes who just happened to be females. When their daughters complained that I was much too tough on them, probably because I was a male, these parents were prone to say, "Suck it up, work harder, he's trying to make you a winner." I salute these parents for their enormous and unwavering support of their daughter's coach, and women's tennis, because again, I firmly believe that without them all, there is no Hall of Fame award for me. Thanks to all of you for coming tonight, particularly those who came from such very great distances. Particular thanks to those who came to share this award with me. Eleanor Hutton, another of my coaching role models and very successful longtime women's tennis coach at Emory and Henry College. 3 of my former players and their husbands are here tonight. Mary Beth Begley Matazuski, Beth Todd Amlong, and Christy Copper Shaughnessy. My sister Nan and her partner Kathy, my nieces Chris Cook and Sarah Person, my University of Mary Washington departmental colleagues, Bill Crawley, UMW historian and his wife Terry, Joe Rowe, still playing tennis in his 80s, with, I might add, an artificial hip, and the person responsible for that beautiful UMW indoor tennis center that you saw in the video. And last but certainly not least, my girlfriend Becky Glazebrook, who if I ever let awards like this go to my head, or even think about losing my humility, she will keep me grounded and on course at all times. Thank you all very much.
Carrie Meyer Richardson. Carrie's mother, also a tennis player, deserves a lot of credit for Carrie's physical drive. She was adamant that the family be physically active, She need not have worried about Carrie. She was born active. As a fiery, feisty redhead with energy to burn, she took to tennis at age 12 like a duck to water. She never slowed, mowing down all the young and old competition in the area. Carrie and her mother Dottie played doubles together and were ranked 18 in the USTA mother-daughter competition. Carrie was fortunate to have USTA tournaments available to her. There were no athletic programs for high school girls in the state of Indiana. It didn't seem right to Carrie that she be denied an opportunity to try out for a team just because she was a girl. So as a high school senior, she donned her women's rights hat and took on a fight against the Washington Township School Board to earn the right to try out for the boys' tennis team. This was 1973, within a year of the Supreme Court's passing of Title IX, giving girls equal opportunity in sports. Even with legislation in place, the school board denied Carrie the right to try out for the boys' team. She did not appeal the decision because she was off to college the next year on a tennis scholarship to Marymount College. Things were more equal there because Peachy Kellmeyer had previously sued and won the right for women to receive athletic scholarships. Carrie says, "That year was wonderful. I liked my coach, my teammates, my roommate, and my classes. I even made the dean's list." Billy Abney, her teammate at Marymount, sends her regards and regrets that she cannot be here with you tonight. She did share a few stories. Some you may not want repeated, but I will share the one about the $20 bet she made that you would not swim around the lake at Marymount on Halloween night. The lake had a resident alligator in it. That did not deter Carrie. She did it in record time, and Billy lost the $20, which was a lot of money in the 70s. Carrie lost no matches as a freshman, and after winning the collegiate championship, she turned pro. It is notable that two other inductees here this evening, Courtney Allen and Barbara Hallquist, won national collegiate championships as freshmen as well. Carrie had considered turning pro right after high school, and after her freshman year, she was ready to test herself in the pro ranks. For the next 8 years, she played on the tour before retiring due to an injury. Her time on the tour was a mere hiccup in her education. She enrolled at Purdue, assisted with the tennis team, and earned her bachelor's degree. That would have been enough for most, but Carrie didn't stop until she had earned an MBA and a law degree. Great story, Carrie. Now let the camera roll on the rest of her achievements.
Meeting Carrie Meyer, a sports writer, once wrote, is like uncorking a bottle of champagne. The effervescent Meyer, with her flamboyant style and flaming red hair, was a crowd favorite throughout her career. Growing up in Indianapolis, Meyer started off in a YMCA swim program, but she soon switched from backstroke to backhand, making tennis her life. She honed her skills at the city's Northside tennis program, working with Butler University coach Henry Weitzel. At age 16, she scored her first big upset, winning the Indiana State Women's Championship against top-ranked Louise Owen. Winning her first national title in 1972, the indoor doubles, Meyer went on to capture the hard-court singles title the following year. She scored yet another victory, winning the doubles title with partner Bea Kilgore. Back home in Indianapolis, Meyer took on the pros, beating 23-year-old Pam Austin in an exhibition match on the night of her high school graduation. With her family's support, Meyer decided to attend college before going pro herself. Working as a ball girl at a Virginia Slims event, Meyer met WTA pioneer Peachy Kellmeyer, who recommended Florida's Marymount College, where she once coached. Playing at Marymount, Meyer went undefeated in match play her freshman year under coach Astrid Serby. She also took part in international team play with other standout collegians, including Trinity's Joanne Russell. She capped her freshman year at the National Collegiate Championships in Kalamazoo. Playing Linda Morse of California Irvine in the finals, Meyer saved 3 match points in a tense third set to win the title. The next day, Meyer celebrated her win by turning pro. She took off for Wimbledon, making it to the quarters in mixed doubles. "I can't believe I'm really here. It's like I'm dreaming," she wrote in her diary. She was then recruited by the Indianapolis Loves of World Team Tennis, beloved by their rowdy home fans. Meyer took to team competition, scoring big wins over Yvonne Goolagong in singles and Billie Jean King in doubles. She competed on the Virginia Slim circuit in the formative years of the Women's Pro Tour, competing with all the greats, including Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova. "I felt like asking them for their autographs and not playing against them," she joked. With her aggressive play and skillful net game, she reached a career-high singles world ranking of number 14. "Looking back, I was fortunate to have the experience that I had," Meyer said of her pro career. "I got the opportunity to travel and test myself against the best women players in the world." In 1982, after retiring from the tour with an arm injury, Meyer began a new phase of her career as a teaching pro and coach. She went back to school at Purdue, earning her BA while coaching the women's tennis team. Meyer also served the game as captain and coach for international junior competition. Now settled with husband Patrick and son Michael outside of Seattle, she remains an active supporter of junior tennis in her native Indianapolis. Her message to youngsters is the same she heard from her own childhood mentors: "You can do it." It's a message Carrie Meyer has always taken to heart.
And as she's coming forward, I would like to recognize that her son Michael and her brother and sister and their families are all here. Carrie's husband regrets that he could not be here this evening due to a family illness. So we're happy to have Carrie here with her family members.
I went back through a lot of newspaper articles and I read them, and I looked at myself. I mean, now I'm 55, and I looked at myself as a player, and I thought, wow, you know, there was somebody who tried very, very hard, played a lot of 3-set matches. I mean, the finals of the National Collegiate Championships, there were match points flying everywhere, and it was said to have been a very exciting match. I would call it maybe more of a very harrowing match. I don't know if it was a good match, but certainly she and I both tried very, very hard. And I wasn't somebody that gave up. And I look at that, and I look at my team tennis scores from playing on the Indiana Loves World Team Tennis, and I might not have been, you know, the top, you know, Billie Jean King, Martina Navratilova, Chris Evert, but I competed well against them, and I'm proud of that.
Betsy and I go back a long time. One of my early memories was us on a team in Great Britain, and I remember turning to Betsy and saying to her, who is that Czech kid with the big lefty serve? And Betsy saying to me, her name is Martina, Martina Navratilova. So my entire family want to, and my husband, who's not here, but we want to thank you very much for the kindness that you've shown us. I am deeply honored, and I know my family is. This has meant so much to us, and our honorary mother this occasion, Barbara Wynn, who has one of the most outstanding junior development programs in the country. So many of us from Central Indiana and the Midwest have played in her tournaments and events and pro tournaments, and she's in my top 10 list. So one thing I wanted to say regarding what I had heard earlier, I did deeply believe that we should have organized high school tennis teams. And my high school, as you know, you probably gathered from what Betsy said, and there was quite a bit of local publicity, the local newspaper, and there was quite a fuss about that. And so my high school counselor had heard about this recruiter from Marymount College, and that Marymount College had been the college that challenged the NCAA for women to receive grant and aid scholarships. And this counselor and I kind of liked each other because I would use a payphone out in the student center to call and to make my appointments, because every time I'd go in there I couldn't seem to get an appointment. So anyway, we became friends, more so than usual, and they put me in touch with Marymount College, And at the same time, the Virginia Slims of Indianapolis was going on, and Peachy Kellmeyer was the tour director at that time. She had left Marymount College, and she talked to me about Marymount College and that she believed deeply that women should receive grant and aid scholarships. Well, I loved it, and I agreed with that, and I am so happy that I went to Marymount College that year, and very proud of the fact that Peachy had challenged the NCAA for women to receive grant and aid scholarships. And now when I look back at what it was then and what it is now, whether it's Purdue University or so many other of the schools, I can only think that it was really an ideal then. It was what we believed was right and what we wanted, but to see it really in action is really something. So that's pretty much what I want to say. And it's my honor to be here. Thank you again.
Joanne Russell. There is so much I could say about Joanne. We are longtime friends and doubles partners. Her big personality defies an ordinary description. Besides being a skilled and devoted tennis player, she is funny, curious, kind, highly competitive, and a fun doubles partner. To give you insight into her light and witty personality, I will share a story written by Nathaniel Chura about her 1977 win at Wimbledon with Australian partner Helen Gourlay-Cawley. For starters, the two had hardly met before their first round match against the second seeds, Chris Evert and Rosie Casals. She and Helen were supposed to play together the week before at Eastbourne, but Helen didn't show. At Wimbledon, Joanne was waiting out on court 2. Chris and Rosie were sitting there, and they asked, "Where's your partner?" Joanne replied, "She wasn't in my locker room." She didn't want to say, "I've never met her." Finally, Helen walks out, a tiny wisp of a thing with rackets under her arm, and Joanne says, "That's her?" Without mincing words, Helen came right over and says, "Do you mind playing backhand?" Joanne answers, "No, Helen, I always play backhand." Meanwhile, Joanne hadn't played the backhand side since she was 12. But you can't say, "Don't put me there." Next, Helen says, "Do you mind serving first?" Joanne replies, "No, Helen, I'm serving well." Luckily, she missed Joanne's singles match where she lost love and double faulted 28 times to Rosie Casals in the worst match she ever played at Wimbledon. Nevertheless, in their debut match, Joanne and Helen blasted through Evert and Casals 6-3, 7-5 and steamrolled their way into the finals. At 6-3, 5-3, and 40 love, on the centennial anniversary of the Wimbledon Championships, Joanne unloaded a big serve into Navratilova's backhand. When the return went wide, Joanne and Helen jumped for joy and walked away with the crowning achievement of their careers. It was 16 years later, in 1993 and 1994, that Joanne and I got to play doubles in the 35 and overs at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. She was the same player as she was in 1977. Quick-witted, big game, dynamic, and fun to play with. The best part was walking away with 3 more national championships. Like many other players being inducted tonight, Joanne's career existed before prize money became sizable. That, however, never dimmed Joanne's love to play the game or her devotion to coaching young players. Joanne, it's an honor to welcome you into the Hall of Fame tonight. So let's roll the video on Joanne Russell.
For 5 decades, Joanne Russell has given her all to the game of tennis. According to sportscaster Mary Carrillo, Russell's longtime friend and colleague, her personality is big, funny, curious, and kind. Her game is big too, standing up to the likes of Ilie Nastase, something Russell learned as a youngster hitting against senior male players. At 10 years old, she was playing with all the slicers and dicers in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Raised in Naples, Florida, Russell came from a tennis-loving family. All 4 kids played college tennis, including her sister Lynn, a William and Mary standout. At age 12, Russell began working with Tommy Boys, a local teaching pro and William and Mary alum. She stayed with Boys until his retirement in 1980. In 1972, Russell entered Trinity University in Texas. Jolton Joanne immediately made an impact. In 1973, she helped lead an all-freshman team to the national championship, and then in '74, a runner-up finish to Arizona State. Russell achieved even greater success as a junior when the Tigerettes exacted revenge on ASU and won back the national title. She took home the National Collegiate Doubles title as well with partner Donna Stockton. Soon after, Russell announced she was turning pro. She achieved early success in Virginia Slims and Whiteman Cup play, pairing with Billie Jean King on the '77 championship team, and also received the stamp of approval from the U.S. Postal Service. At Wimbledon in 1977, Russell teamed up with Australian Helen Gurley Cawley, whom she had never met before, to play doubles. The unseeded pair stunned the tennis world by upsetting #1 seeds Martina Navratilova and Betty Stova in the finals 3-3, capturing the ladies' doubles championship. Thanks to her Wimbledon win, Russell reached the #1 world ranking in doubles. Playing on the circuit until 1988, Russell enjoyed some outstanding results, reaching the quarters in singles, doubles, and mixed doubles at Wimbledon in 1982 and the U.S. Open mixed doubles finals with Steve Denton that same year. In the 1980s, Russell began working off the court as well as a television commentator. She worked alongside such well-known figures as NBC's Dick Enberg and Bud Collins, covering the Grand Slams, WTA events, and the '88 Olympics. After retiring from the circuit, she stayed in the game as a collegiate coach and teaching pro, including a stint at the Kings Mill Resort in Williamsburg. Teaming with Sujay Lama, Russell volunteered as an assistant women's coach for the University of Florida team that won the national championships in 1996 and '98. She then joined the University of Illinois staff under Lama from 1998 to 2005, where she earned ITA Assistant Coach of the Year honors for the Big Ten Conference. In 2005, Russell and her fellow Tigerette teammates from '73 and '75 were inducted into the Trinity University Athletic Hall of Fame. Russell was inducted as an individual player in 2009. And she's never stopped playing. Teaming with fellow Masters champion Betsy Nagelson, Russell again lifted the doubles trophy at Wimbledon in 1993 in the presence of royalty, this time in the 35 and over category. Still competing today, she's won several U.S. Open Masters titles and last year captured the World Cup 55 singles crown. You get older, your hair gets grayer, you get wrinkles, and you get slower, according to Russell. But everyone deep down inside never stops wanting to win. If I can still walk, I'll play.
And as Joanne comes forward, I would like to ask Joanne's friends and family to please stand and be recognized.
To me, there was nothing bigger than college tennis. That's all I ever wanted to do, was play for a good school and go to college. Mm-hmm. That was it. So, I mean, I was jumping up and down. And you know what, I didn't understand how happy people would be for me. I mean, you know, I have family and I knew they'd be happy, but all my friends and colleagues, they were thrilled. So for me, I mean, it was, you know, Hall of Fame, that's, you know, it only comes once in a lifetime or not at all. Mm-hmm. So, hey, I am one happy camper.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe the people I followed up here. Just amazing. They've about thanked everybody you can possibly thank, but you know what? I'm just going to do another little bit of thanking here. The ITA Hall of Fame committee, if they don't vote for you, you don't get in. So I'm going to thank them.
Kathy Bean, David Benjamin, Frank Brennan, Bev Buckley, Brian Kalbas, Kathy Kolenkowitz. You know I know these people because I can pronounce her name. Ann Lebedeff, Ginny Mack, Sheila McInerney, Sue Ortel, Meg Peavy, Jeff Wallace, Meredith Geiger-Walton, Brian Williams, Millie West, and Betsy. I gotta thank you guys. I mean, I know everybody's not here, but I know, thank you. When I first got the nod from Millie, I went right to, she sent me something, and I looked right up who the committee members were. And I was so excited. I mean, I was excited that I was stunned into silence, which is a rare occasion. And Millie thought I wasn't excited. And I said, Millie, unbelievable honor that I was chosen to be inducted into the Women's Intercollegiate Hall of Fame. It was just an incredible, incredible honor. And, you know, I sincerely appreciate every single person that sent me a text, a tweet, a Facebook thing. Of course, I never look at Facebook, but I actually did for a couple of weeks. Snail mail, you know, you put a stamp on it, and people that called me. I mean, it was just incredible. In fact, I have to thank Sujay Lama's wife because I really wasn't going to send any invitations out because I thought, you know, nobody wants to hear about that. Except for my family, but they're family, so they gotta, you know, they gotta listen to everything. But she got her address book out, and she literally on the phone, I was on the phone for an hour, and she went through A to Z. She gave me every address. That's the only reason you had everybody's address, was thanks to Lynn Lama. I would also like to thank the people that went before me. Courtney Allen, incredible player, person. Dave Borelli, I mean, your picture is so young in here. Wow, I was like thinking, who is that handsome guy there? And then he gets up here and he says, as an older person, at 59, and I went, oh, God, I thought Dave was way older than me. I just turned 56, so Dave, you really need to pick it up on the working out. Barb Hallquist, I mean, I can't believe you would think, why would you be worried that you know, if I went before you? I mean, he's just an incredible person, incredible speaker. Amazing. Ed Hegman, you are an amazing, amazing coach. I mean, I just wish, I mean, I've coached a few years. I mean, really, literally, compared to the other coaches, just like a tiny smidge on the horizon. I mean, if I could just be half the coach that you, Dave Borelli, Frank Brennan, Sheila Mack, anybody else, I'm sorry I've missed you in here, but that would be incredible, just incredible. And then for years, I have to say, I thought Carrie Meyer was the one that sued to get me a college scholarship. But you know what, it's okay. I mean, you know, it's good that I gave you credit for that. Because my first semester in school, you know, my parents had already put one, my sister, and then my brother was coming right after me, and then Lynn was coming right after that. So there were going to be a lot of people in my family swimming around in the college atmosphere. And I actually worked in the kitchen. I had a work grant, so they didn't exactly send you out to like rake up some non-existent grass back then. I mean, I actually worked in the kitchen. I haven't been in the kitchen since. I mean, I had a work grant, a scholastic, I paid, I had financial aid. I mean, if whatever there was available, I took it, and I was glad. But then I was thanking my lucky stars, and I don't care, I'll give it to you. I mean, that Carrie Meyer sued, and the next year, I mean, luckily our team won the NCAAs, or the AIAWs, that year, and we came back, and they gave us all college scholarships the next year. It was just incredible. I mean, what a great feeling. And I have to say, I was recruited by not one single school. Not one single school. I mean, I was begging. I was like pleading. I wanted to go to Arizona State. And I sent letters and I called. Nope, not good enough. And you know what? I looked back on that and I went, you know what? That was a good thing. Somebody told me I was not good enough. My coach, God bless him, Tommy Boyes, my first coach, William and Mary grad, he went out and he said, don't worry, I'll help you. He called all around, and he knew Clarence Mabry, who's the coach, the men's coach at Trinity University. Called Clarence, and he said, you know what, this is a great girl. She's a good student, and not as good as a few of these girls here, let me tell you, they're fantastic, but a good student, and she is going to be a really good player. She will help your team. And so Clarence, he said, send her on in, you know, just send her into Trinity. And I want to thank Trinity University. They purchased a table here. I mean, that was incredible. I mean, for a small school, I think when I was there, the undergrad and the grad, it was maybe 3,200 students, I think. It might not even been that high. So we were a really small school. And I only knew one person that went there, and it was actually Donna Stockton. So I was really fortunate. I know one person. I had a great coach when I was a junior, and he absolutely believed in me. And I think if anybody tells you that I did it all by myself, you know, I worked really hard, I did this, I did that, it's not true. Their parents, their friends, their family, they just didn't stand up and say, honey, you know, we had a lot of little sacrifices here. I mean, my parents, they sacrificed an incredible amount. I mean, I wish they could be here. Well, but anyway, sorry, my sister, Lynn, her husband, Ron, Steve, my brother, Cheryl, my coach, Lenny Sherman, and his wife, my nephew, Steve, are here in the back. I would like all my friends and family. I know they've already stood up, but the unbelievable group. Teammate Ann Schroeder, Joe Rudd, one of my best friends from school. I mean, he missed his son's, you know, his son goes to the Naval Academy, and he missed that football game there. He said, hey, are you kidding me? I gotta come here and support Trinity University and their Hall of Fame inductee. I was like, man, that is awesome. And I want to thank Trinity University. They were just incredible to me, inducting me into their Hall of Fame and then supporting me here. And I have to say, I'm an incredibly lucky person. I was lucky that I had parents that loved tennis. I was lucky I had coaches, and Tommy Boyes has passed away, but that's okay. He was a great guy, graduate of William and Mary, fantastic guy. John Newman and his wife are here. John was my coach at Trinity, and incredible motivator. Let me tell you, our first year, we were practicing before NCAAs, and John, I'm sorry, I gotta tell this story. He told it to me tonight. He said, remember 2 weeks before you're going to the NCAAs, he looked at us and he said, you guys are just horrible, just horrible. You are not gonna win a dang thing. And I'm not going. So we went, and he'd call us every day, and he goes, okay, how'd you do? Well, we lost, and then somebody else lost. But back in those days, it was a big draw, and they had a back draw. We had a couple people winning in the main draw, and then we had back draw. You got points for the back draw. We ended up, I think we beat Stanford by 1.5 points or a half a point or something like that. He could not believe we won. He never not came to anything again. I mean, he was there for us. But let me tell you, that was an incredible motivator. He knew his players. He knew the four of us, myself, Donna Stockton, Mary Ham, and Val Franta. This was my first year there. We did not need somebody holding our hand. We went there so fired up, it didn't matter how many rounds. We were counting up our points every day. We warmed ourselves up. We walked from the hotel. I swear I ate at Burger King every single day. That's all we could afford. I've never gone there since. But that was an incredible motivational tool. I mean, I know you couldn't do that today, but I want to thank you, John. That was, I mean, all of us want to thank you for that. And then my coach, Lenny Sherman, he coached me, he started coaching me when I was like 26, or 26 or 7, and I told him, I said, you know what, I think I could be better. And he looked at me and thought I was crazy. And he said, you know, you're kind of old to be changing your game. And you know what? He changed my game. I'm a much better player. And he was another one. That's where I got lucky. Tommy Boyes, John Newman, Lenny Sherman. They all loved tennis. I mean, they told stories, they played, they had friends in tennis. It was incredible. And then I was lucky again. I had teammates. Donna Stockton, Val Franta, Mary Ham, Ann Schroeder, Stephanie Tollison. They were incredible teammates, incredibly competitive. Donna told me once, and she's one of my very best friends, she said, you know, we didn't really like you that much because, you know, you kind of came in and, you know, we were kind of all set in the lineup. And she said, not at all, we didn't like you. And she goes, but then you won all your matches and we kind of liked you after that. And you know what? I loved it when she told me that. You know, I thought, my goodness, you know, I got some teammates that are competitive. They all want to win. I didn't have to worry about somebody tanking some match. And I have to say, you know, I want to thank ASU for rejecting me, because let me tell you, I would go and we would play ASU and I'm whipping my teammates. Don't you ever lose to ASU. They dissed me so big. I said, my God, they couldn't even tell me I was horrible. So I want to thank ASU. I mean, you know, you take inspiration from where you can get it, and my teammates and I, that's the difference. I mean, it's wonderful that you know, I won Wimbledon. I'm so incredibly happy about that. But my college experience was incredible. I won Wimbledon, everybody had already gone home. There was nobody there. I was there by myself. And really, Helen I only met the first day she walked out on the court. I swear that was true. I had no idea what she looked like. I mean, I didn't have a partner and they signed me up with her. Lucky me, that's all I can say. So I just want to thank everyone in this room. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. No, forget it. But also my friend, Betsy Nagelson. God, I think she greased the wheels here. And Millie West, thank you once again. And I think that this all works really because of Millie, because of Betsy and Mark, their legacy. But it's a lot because I've known Millie for years because I met her through Lynn, my sister. And they came down to Naples, they played, I came up, and I didn't mention Brent and Donna Hughes. Brent Hughes was the director of tennis and head pro at Kings Milan the James, and he hired me, and I was the touring pro there for 10 years. My God, they couldn't get rid of me. I liked that place so much. So I want to thank you, Brent, and this has been an incredible experience, and I love it that I'll be forever connected to the Intercollegiate Hall of Fame and women's tennis. And you know, at the start of our program, Mr. Ripple, he said, the glorious game of tennis played by women on college campuses everywhere. And I thought, wow, that is an incredible line. So I just thought I'd say it one more time, and thank you so much.
Well, again, my very serious congratulations to each of you that have been inducted here this evening. You have contributed to the growth of women's tennis in such a unique way, and it is my pleasure to recognize you and welcome you into a very select group of men and women. It has been my greatest pleasure to share this evening with you, and again, I thank the ITA, and I thank President Reevely, and I thank Millie West. So I will turn it back over to Gary Ripley.
Are you ready for the second half of the program? Thank you, Betsy, for once again being the icing on this delicious evening of honor and nostalgia. We are proud of your continuing association with the college and the Hall of Fame. It's always a treat to have you back with us to make this such a special occasion. And finally, let me just close by saying that tonight we have celebrated great performances by men who coached and women who played collegiate tennis at its highest level. Let us remember that the young girls who aspire to reach similar heights will stand on the shoulders of those who've gone before them. The members of this Hall of Fame are an inspiration to those who will play the game of tennis for generations to come. To all the relatives and friends who came this evening to honor our inductees, I'd like to close the program by thanking all of you for being with us. May you extend your stay here in Williamsburg for as long as possible. But if you must leave, may you travel safely and carry with you the warm memories of this special evening. Thank you and good night.